Hey there, paper geeks and glitter nerds, it's Senna, the crazy geek crafter. I am participating in a video hub that is all about mermaids. Now, if you click the hashtag in the description, you'll be taken to a list of all the videos you can see with wonderful mermaids and the craft they can be used for. My most favorite mermaids are these from MFT, designed by Birdie Brown. They are so lovely. So I made some digital dies and cut out the mermaid that I wanted for this project and one fish. The rest of the card is gonna be mostly seaweed and ocean. Now one of the die cuts didn't cut right. It made some kind of mistake around the hair. So luckily I don't need the tip of the hair for this particular card, so I can save the one that is whole for another project. I have started to make extras every time I die cut out shapes, just to make sure if I color them wrong or if something goes wrong with the cutting like it did here, then I don't have to start up the machine again. The thinking is that I'm going to stamp this out in jellyfish ink and try and do no line coloring, and it's gonna go mostly right but only mostly, unfortunately, but you'll see that a bit later. As you can see here, the details of her hand and face are not as prominent as one would like. That's why I'm going to put this back in my Misty. I did leave the stamps in, and I'm sorry you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm going to stamp it with the River Rock ink just to give it a tiny bit of an outline, but still have that kind of no-line feeling. And since I stamped it out in the grey, I also have to touch up the edges with this grey marker from Memento. Now getting to the background, this is going to be made on Bristol paper. I'm just going to cut a strip that is slightly bigger than what I need for the strip on the card I want. And now I'm going to heat emboss seaweed and corals all over it. I'm going to use mainly embossing powders, but I also have a green ink that I'm going to try and use with some clear embossing powder. Then afterwards I can ink it with the blues and yellows for the bottom of the ocean and the sea above it. I could have left the card like this, but I did want some dimension and somewhere to hide the mermaid, so I didn't have to cut her instead. So here I'm cutting a white piece of cardstock from Luna Hobby in white. I'm gonna make 2 panels, 1 for each side, and I'm gonna pop them up with 4 layers of foam tape. Now my foam tape is pretty thin, so that's why I'm using 4 on the panels and only 2 on the mermaid and the fish. I have a most favorite trick when I do mermaids and other scaly things. I use this stickles it's called Icicle, and it really looks like scales because the glitter chunks in it are so big, and it's very nice. Hopefully you'll be able to see it in the end photos. And just a few finishing touches. I want some bubbles on my card, not too many, just a few. So I have these from Trust My Craft, and I'm gonna glue them on with Ranger Multimedia Matte. And the next part is a bit embarrassing. I actually ruined the card. I did try to fix it, but I'm not quite sure I did. I am still thinking about maybe going back and peeling off my mermaid, because I wanted to make some highlights on their eyes, and I couldn't get any of my white jelly pens to work, so I was gonna try out some white paint, and it smudged all over her face. It was so annoying. I had to leave it and come back to try and fix it, because I was pretty sure I had actually ruined the card. But I did manage to get it looking almost good, so I may still take her off and make a new one, but it's hard when you make those kinds of mistakes that you really can't fix. But I hope you'll hop along and see some of the other mermaid projects from the other participants. Just click the hashtag in the description and it'll take you right to all the other videos. I will be watching them all, I can promise you that. I think it's so exciting when someone throws out a subject and we all go and make our own version of it. But here's the card, and I hope I'll be seeing you next week for another card. Until then, I hope you'll be having a good day, evening, or night.